is 2 mm size. One-stop shop, and we can stage the patient correctly, and we know exactly how to treat the patients. And then, once we identify a patient like this, the next question is how we're going to treat this patient. If we're still going to apply the chemo to the patients, then we don't make too much difference. So we have another technology called molecular targeted radiation therapy. Basically, it's the same drone. Right now, we swap the camera isotope to atomic bomb isotope over there. So the same tracer are going to get into patient's body, looking for the tumor, bind to the tumor, and start burning the tumor out non-stop 24/7 for 6 weeks, and burn the tumor out without hurting surrounding tissues. The reason it won't hurt surrounding tissue, meaning with no side effect, is because the isotope we're using will emit alpha or beta particle. So this kind of particle parts all the energies within 2 mm range. So once they target to the tumor, it will burn everything on site without hurting surrounding tissue. And that's how we can make this patient from end-stage cancer to complete remission without any side effect. So using the same concept, we also can start tackle other disease. By designing different kind of tracers, we can use this concept of looking for Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, depression, PTSD, CT, etc., etc. Like what everybody knows, Alzheimer's become a more and more serious issue to our national security because we have a bigger population suffering from that. But the biggest problem right now over there is because usually we catch the disease too late. Only when you have a symptom coming out, then they will go to the doctor, they will go to see the doctor. But usually at this phase, there's going to be the disease has been developed in the patient's brain for 10 to 15 years. So really key issues is not trying to figure out how to treat a patient at a late stage. It's how are we going to identify the disease when it first started. And we can use the molecular imaging to do that. By directly designing the right tracers, we can easily to catch the patients in the early onset with Alzheimer's disease and differentiate them from the sometimes they have very similar symptoms. So usually the doctors sometimes will make a wrong diagnosis. A front lobe is not working. Like this patient, the front lobe doesn't have any disease patient has very strong activity in the front lobe. So we know this is the patient with the front lobe dementia. This is Alzheimer's patient. So not only we can catch disease in a very, very early phase, we can also do the count. We can create a very sophisticated. We can power not only to show this is the so you have the area the perfusion of blood has been affected. So before you know how to deal with the situation and what's the situation they want to face. So this is get back to the we want to collect the right information, turn the information into the useful intelligence, and use this intelligence to treat the patients correctly, offer right diagnosis, and offer the right treatment and right dose at the right time. So the technology has been available, and why patients still cannot have access to that? Is it because are you good? And the reasons are we don't have infrastructure. And that's the biggest problem we have over here. We don't have infrastructure to manufacture these kind of radiopharmaceutical drugs at a wide variety at a commercial scale. We don't have a molecular imaging clinic being able to scan a patient efficiently, and we also don't have therapeutic clinic being able to treat the patients. This is not just another infusion clinic. We're administering the radioactive drugs. So everything of the So we're going to, as you can see, where we are right now is the headquarters of the flagship facility of the We have radio pharmacy, formal events, motivated clinic, formal events, therapeutic clinic over here once we start running. And after that, we're going to partner with institutions, universities, and medical center around the nation to duplicate these models, making this technology available to people. And also, the reason we use these side over here is be able to reach that so we can facilitate clinical trials, bring more technology to patients sooner. And then so the infrastructure we're going to see over here is R3. Number one, the molecular radiopharmacy to manufacture these radioactive drugs over here. Number two, the molecular imaging clinic to be able to image the patient efficiently to acquire the right information. And number three is the therapeutic clinic allows us to treat the patients. And by building the technology and the platform over here, we should be able to lead the whole world to make the things happen and change the way we practice medicine. So without doing the trial and error, without guessing anymore. So the last report over here is what I want to show everybody. This is not a fantasy. That's not the only case we have. Every single patient you see over here is the patient we treated in Germany for the past 4 years, and the patient being published by the same drugs treatment around the globe. So every single patient you see over here is currently being considered as untreatable patients. Directly go to hospice care. These type of patients have several weeks to live. So going through this kind of imaging to stage the patient and going through this kind of treatment, not only we can make this end-stage patient achieve complete remission, but without causing any side effect. So what I want to end with about what we're doing over here is we're over here with them, with MSU's partnerships, and what we're trying to bring to the world is not hope. We're not bringing a hope to the world. We're trying to realize the hope. We're not trying to tell the world what the future will look like. It's exactly we're going to make the world to see what the future will be. So again, this is the teamwork. I really appreciate the team over here with the MSU, with the Rockford, and what we want. Change the way how we commute. Michigan changed the way how we manufacture. Meyer changed the way how we do grocery things. I think the majority of people don't know that. Walmart came to Meyer to learn how to build this kind of big center. And 100 years later, this is the time we work with each other, make Michigan to lead the way how
on this board.
Yes.
With cancer survivors, or is it
So,
montage of different types?
yeah, on this board is called prostate cancer.
Okay.
This prostate cancer is how we started.
Right.
Because it's a major cancer and we have a very powerful drug has been developed. So that's how we started. Tumor, it's another cancer, but it's a rare cancer, so impact will be a little bit small, but again, there's no way to treat it. And right now in the United States for neuroendocrine tumor, average life expectancy from diagnosis of death is about 22 months. But for a patient we treated in Germany, and this actually started like almost 10 years ago, the average life expectancy is over 5 years already, and it's still expanding. So that's why we need to bring this technology back, and we need to build a platform, and we have more drugs on the pipeline to targeting breast cancer, brain cancer, lung cancer, pancreas, etc. And for the paper published by in Europe, this concept also has been proved and potentially have a proof effect to a lot of type of cancer like leukemia or multiple myeloma, etc.
So there are two aspects, and there's two, right, the diagnosis and then the treatment.
Yep.
This can be used as a diagnostic tool for any type of cancer.
Yes. Yeah.
Even if there's not a wonderful treatment yet.
Yes, yes. At least we can stage the patient correctly. We can catch the disease way earlier, so we can have more information to decide what kind of weapon we want to use to treat the patient, even we don't have this type of new tracer. Yeah.
What went on by that, and I think about that in terms of what the potential is here, but.
That's exactly what we're hard with. And one of the story behind the scene why I'm so eager to leave academia to start this kind of thing is one of us small tiny pediatric patients being treated at the bus hospital. And she's 4 years old, she came to my lab several times and look at our experiments. Yeah, I hope you can do faster and you guys can learn something same. She got a glioblastoma over there. And with those kind of brain cancers, the problem with brain cancers usually is in irregular shape. And it also, because the brain, it's very, very hard to do very invasive procedure for that. And if you want to do conventional external beam radiation, it's almost inevitable to hurt the surrounding tissues. So this will be a very, very ideal solution. Number one, we can identify exactly where the tumors are. And number two, we can just send a drone directly to where the tumors are without hurting surrounding tissue. We don't care about the shape of the tumor. As long as there's a brain cancer, we can bind to it and start burning those things out. So I think there's a great potential over here for not only like adult brain cancer, but also pediatric brain cancer cases. And this is the part we want to work with MSU Medical School intensively trying to make it happen.
There's more than just this. This is just a representative sample.
Yeah.
We treated over 2,000.
But it's a great.
It's very visual.
You point out some of the patients that have been sent to hospice, and then you see that.
Yeah.
It's some one treatment, just one.
So we have some patients just receive one treatment from like this to this. So, and that's the part we still need to do research. We call it super responder. We don't know why. So right now we have about 10% of the patients. We still have 20% patients not really respond to the treatment. So more research while we're trying to figure out why this patient responds so well, and we want to figure out why this patient doesn't respond. And we want to bring more of these kind of patients to be the end of the spectrum. It is. If we can, let's move to the radio pharmacy.
Press, if you can follow me and Kelsey. We're going to leave the way.
We're going to bring up the rear of the grease line.
So what we're standing in is the radio pharmacy. We're standing in the office of our radio pharmacy, and what you're going to see is the event when we start reading. There's several very unique things. Radio pharmacy. Some radio pharmacy can manufacture 2 or 3, but it's just stretching very, 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 very thin. And we're gonna change that. But because as you can see, we're gonna need a wide variety of radio pharmaceuticals. Designed for this. That's why we bring 2 cycles. We are facing is the radiopharmacy one cyclotron going down, and they need to call all the hospitals, all the radiopharmacies to cancel and reschedule the patient. It's a nightmare, and the times the patient doesn't have. Besides, we can manufacture a wide variety of tracers. We can also become cyclotron can be each other's backup, so we still can serve patients more. Both diagnostic and therapeutic radiopharmaceuticals in the same facility. And not only we can manufacture both diagnostic and therapeutic radiopharmaceuticals in the same facility, both alpha and beta like radiopharmaceuticals. The reason we can do that is based on Doug's support, we set up alpha lab in Germany. So we have a lot of experience in Germany when we do clinical trial over there, and we bring those technology and the knowledge back to Michigan and to the United States to try to make it. See, we have very totally different facility, so develop more drugs and to do more research so we can have better drug, more drug for the patient to use. And then a lot of the other things over here is we the facility over here. So Dr. Matt DeLong is our VP of radiopharmacy. He used to run the largest radiopharmacy in Ohio, so we're very happy for him to join us.
And moving away from Michigan, I was excited to join Anthony and MSU and the entire team to bring this innovation to life. You know, historically, radiopharmacy and nuclear medicine as a whole has been really disjointed. You need a developer, or you need an academic center, you need a drug developer, then you need somewhere to make the isotope, somewhere to put it together. And we've really brought all of that under one roof. And listening to kind of the dream and the vision, it makes so much sense. And then on top of that, putting the molecular imaging clinic right next to it, so we can capture all of the really short half-lives and treat that many more patients is just the whole reason why we're doing all this. And then at the same time, you know, capturing the future and, you know, talking about, for me, I'm more excited, you know, the problems we had with bringing new technology in is we would have to come offline and stop production. With having 2 cyclotrons, we can keep production going in one, keep treating patients, and spin up new technology without compromising that. And there's a lot of, you know, left and right hand working at the same time.
There's 2 things I want to add and share with the governor. Is one, I'll give you some 2 of those. And conservatively estimation, every single year in the United States alone, we will need 3 million doses of those kind of tracers. At least 3 right now. The best technology we have right now, besides band, we 20 places in the United States can manufacture about 3 doses a day. And obviously, we will never be able to fulfill the need. The technology we have, and only we have it, and once we open, we can easily manufacture 2,000 doses per cyclotron. So that's the technology we're developing. That's the difference we're trying to make for the future. And the second things I want to share with Governor is last week we just have the very first NRC site visit, Nuclear Regulatory Commission. They came to our site to evaluate the safety of our site, and the result is very, very good. We're extremely proud about our team because usually those groups doesn't like to see the things they haven't seen before operated by a group of people they never heard before. So our team successfully convinced them this is very safe, and we are definitely knowing what we're doing, and it's very exciting. So we're targeting to fire our cyclotron in the coming several weeks.
And the shelf life is pretty short, right? I mean, that's one of the big things.
Yeah, the reason we need to have radio pharmacy around nation is because the majority of our radio pharmaceutical the drug we're manufacturing is radioactive. So they have in manufacturing. So the things we're manufacturing over here will have a half life all the way from 2 minutes to about 2 hours. So 2 hours drug, of course, we can manufacture here to supply about a 4 hours radius. That's what we're going to do, make sure every hospital around here within these radius have a good supply. But for short half-life isotopes, then that's we only can support patients in the same clinic. That's why we have the molecular imaging clinic right adjacent to the radio pharmacy, so we can serve the patient like cardiac patients or neurological patients who need those short half-life.
The further away the patient is from the manufacturer, the greater the dose. So it's, the half-life is, 90 minutes, 90 minutes is half as potent.
Yeah.
So you got to dose the patient out. This clinic will be 1/40th of the dose. So we're not making people radioactive when we give test dose. This is a very important distinction.
Especially children.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll get attention in the clinic part. Yeah. So if you
Oh, press right over here. We just have everyone